So, Shin Megami Tensei 5's been out for a little while, and I think it's fair to say that it's great. With it being on the Switch, it's only natural that you might be coming into contact with the series for the first time, or you might be looking to pivot from Persona to mainline. It's also fair to say it's kind of hard in places, especially if you're not acclimatized to the press turn system and some of the other quirks specific to mainline. With that in mind, here are 5 tips to help you on your journey through DAT to choose your own new world. Unlike other JRPGs, Shin Megami Tensei is a game that is predicated on the use of buffs and debuffs. You need to use these throughout the game. They are absolutely non-negotiable. The most famous example of this is Matador from Shin Megami Tensei 3. He would use his signature skill Red Capote to maximise his accuracy and evasion right at the start of the battle, and then go full Neo on your ass. So you would not be able to hit him unless you debuffed him or buffed your own party, or some combination of the two. Matador is fightable in SMT 5, but he doesn't block your progression in the same way as in SMT 3. So it's likely that you might have gone some way into the game without using buffs, because you've played another JRPG, you've even played Pokémon, you don't think buffs are that useful. You need to use buffs in this game, you need to use debuffs in this game. There are moves in this game that enemies will do more than 999 damage with, and that's your maximum health cap, unless you go over it. So you need to be able to minimize the amount of damage that you take and minimize the amount of hits that you take. So get Tarunda, get Secunda, later on get your Makajas, and use them not sparingly at all, use them liberally all the way through, and you'll have a much easier time with the enemies in the game. SMT 5 takes more of a semi-open world approach to exploration compared to some other games in the franchise, with loads of goodies tucked away into each nook and cranny. It's really important to spend time exploring the world and scooping all of these up. Most importantly among these are the apples, which give you a large amount of glory when picked up, and chests, which can contain essence for demons, which allows you to change the Nahobino's skills and affinities, and make you have a much easier time as you go and be able to adapt to the enemies. Pretty much everything you find when you're walking around is useful, so scoop it all up. Arm yourself with as much stuff as you can, as much treasure as you can get, as many items as you can get, and there's really no harm that can be done from that. Miracles in SMT 5 are a great way to power up your characters and get the most out of your progression through the game. At the start of the game, your access to these is fairly limited, however you gain access to more powerful and higher ranking miracles in the Cathedral of Shadows by taking out the multitude of abscesses you'll find scattered across the areas. Not only do these provide you with more miracles to purchase with glory, but these will also clear up the big purple blots on the map, making it easier to find your way around and to find some more goodies hidden around the areas. These fights can be a little bit trickier, so make sure you're prepared when you go in, and you shouldn't have too many problems. In SMT 5, just like your demons themselves, your main character also has an elemental affinity to worry about. This can be taken advantage of by the enemies in the game to gain more press turns, and also just does more damage to your character. In order to avoid leaving yourself vulnerable to the game's various bosses and tough encounters, make sure that you make use of demon essences in the Cathedral of Shadows to change your main character's affinity to suit whatever encounter you're going up against. A good example is using a demon's essence who resists or blocks fire attacks against the game's first boss, the Hydra. By doing this, you can minimise the amount of damage that your main character will take from the boss's attacks and greatly increase your chances of survival, because it's game over if the Nahobino dies. You'll be inundated with essences as you progress through the game, so don't be scared to cover your ass as and when you need to. The similarities between SMT and Pokémon are fairly obvious. Both are turn-based and have a large cast of colourful creatures to collect and recruit. Where things differ, however, is that in SMT, an attachment to your demons in the early game will lead you to having some real problems further down the line. The best thing to do every few levels is to fuse your demons together to create stronger ones with better moves. The growth gained by leveling in terms of skills is finite for demons, and lower level demons take more XP to level up, so you're really hamstringing yourself if you go on without taking advantage of fusion. Do yourself a favour and be ruthless with your fusing. You thank yourself in the long run, and then when it's time to get your late game team together, your forever team, you can use your resources to bring your faves back up to snuff. That's about all I have time for today, but hopefully that gave you a bit of a good starting point and helps you with your first few hours in DAT. My parting advice is don't be intimidated by the game. Have enough patience and willingness to adapt, and you'll be comfortable and immersed in no time. Have fun. See you later.